The Egyptian New Kingdom began in the violent expulsion of the Hyksos occupiers. To secure the borders, Pharaoh Ahmose I united the country by forging a massive, highly professionalized standing army. This stone relief shows the technological shift that made expansion possible. The Egyptians adopted the two-man war chariot and the composite bow, turning their military into a highly mobile, long-range strike force. These bronze khopesh swords were tools of state policy. Military campaigns were framed as a religious duty to enforce ma'at, the ancient Egyptian concept of cosmic order and balance, against the forces of chaos. Imperial conquest became a permanent requirement of the state. This required a massive war machine, and that machine generated an unprecedented influx of wealth. Gold from the Levant, ivory from Nubia, and massive cedar logs flowed directly into the capital city of Thebes. Most of that tribute ended up here, at the Karnak temple complex. Its physically imposing, closed architecture was designed to be the exclusive domain of the state god Amun-Ra. This constant flow of spoils allowed the priests of Amun to transform. They grew from spiritual guides into a hyper-wealthy political monopoly, holding vast estates and control over the empire's internal economy. This decentralized power structure rivaled the throne's authority. The priesthood had created a parallel state that the pharaoh no longer fully controlled. By the time Amenhotep IV took the throne, the engine of empire had funded its own rival. The crown and the clergy were locked in a zero-sum game for control of Egypt. Around 1353 BC, the pharaoh pivoted. He abandoned the traditional pantheon and mandated the worship of a single entity, the Aten, the visible light of the sun. This limestone relief shows the theological shift. No other gods are present. The sun's rays terminate in human hands, offering the symbol of life directly to the royal family, visually confirming the pharaoh as the sole mediator bypassing the clergy. This theology served a specific objective. By changing the god, the pharaoh systematically cut the Amun priesthood out of the power loop, reclaiming the vast wealth and influence they had spent centuries accumulating. Akhenaten used this religious pivot to launch a hostile takeover of the state. He centralized absolute authority, stripping the old guard of their resources and their relevance. To finalize the break, the pharaoh changed his name to Akhenaten and moved the capital to a brand new site, the city of Amarna. Worshipping the Aten in the light required a complete architectural redesign. The new temples dispensed with heavy stone roofs entirely, leaving the massive offering courts wide open to the sky. This wall construction shows how they built so quickly. Architects utilized talatat blocks, standardized limestone blocks small enough to be carried by a single worker. Because these blocks were portable and uniform, Akhenaten could mass-produce his city. He threw up monumental temples and palaces at a speed that traditional Egyptian engineering couldn't match. The art style followed this radical logic. This colossal statue of Akhenaten uses heavy-hipped proportions and an elongated face to visually separate the king from normal humanity as a divine being. The city of Amarna was a high-speed political machine. Every open-air court and alien statue was designed to visually enforce the pharaoh's total monopoly on the Egyptian world. Akhenaten's 17-year experiment proved too disruptive to the state's bureaucracy. His death sparked a fractured succession as the traditional power centers fought to regain their lost influence. Successors like Tutankhamun recognized that maintaining the empire required the old order. They abandoned Amarna and returned the court to the traditional religious hubs of Memphis and Thebes. Later pharaohs began a systematic erasure of the period. Laborers were dispatched to chisel Akhenaten's face and strike his name from the lists. The machinery of the Egyptian empire was too deeply rooted to be permanently dismantled by one ruler. To survive, the state aggressively restored the status quo. Under Ramesses II, the destruction of Amarna was finalized. The city's formal buildings were dismantled down to the foundation level. The small, standardized talatat blocks that allowed for rapid construction became his legacy's undoing. Successors carted them back to Karnak, recycling the heretic city as hidden filler stone packed deep inside the walls of traditional temple pylons. To restore the old order, the new kingdom literally swallowed Akhenaten's physical work. The blocks of his revolution became the invisible reinforcement for the institutions he tried to destroy.